Welcome back to Latin. This is the lesson for Wheelock chapter 22. First, a quick review of our weekly schedule. Mondays, as announced, we'll have class at 11 o'clock to go over, especially work on translation skills. And then either on Monday or Tuesday, you need to watch this lesson. For the week's work, make your flashcards of your forms and vocabulary and study those. Get those kind of under your belt Monday and Tuesday. Then on Wednesday and Thursday, do the written translation work. Continue to review your flashcards. And then after you do the translation work, you'll go back and watch the videos that give the translation corrections. And then you'll be ready for a quiz on Friday at 11. So that's our weekly schedule, just a reminder of how you should plan out that work for the week. So for today, for Wheelock chapter 22, very short and straightforward chapter. We're learning our last declension of nouns. As we move through Latin 2, we'll get to a lot of lasts, which is great. So now you've learned all 5 declensions of nouns. So by now you know how these work, just a set of endings to let you know the difference between the different cases and whether the noun is singular or plural. And the endings for the 5th declension are ace, am, ace, arum, abus, ace, abus. So very straightforward. He gives the examples of race, which is means thing. So the word here, race. So that goes race, ray, rem, ray, race, rerum, rebus, race, rebus. And then the other example he gives is the word for day, dies. So that goes dies, diem, dies, dierum, diebus, diebus. So very straightforward. And then the only other thing that's going on in lesson 22, chapter 22, are the uses of the ablative. And what I've done, I've simplified his discussion for you. I certainly encourage you to read through what he says about the ablative on pages 177 and 178, but we can simplify this very quickly. Sometimes the ablative is there because it's following a preposition. And so on the bottom of page 177, he gives you a list of some of these prepositions and the ideas they communicate. And so you see in the middle of page 177, the ablative is used as a simple object of a preposition, and specifically it's used with the word cum to indicate accompaniment. So cum amico id scripsit, he wrote a letter with his friend. So there's our example, cum amico, with a friend. So, and then other words. In and sub, ob, de, and ex, and so forth. So you should have learned this when you learned these prepositions. So it's cum, ex, de, ob. Those are certainly the big ones. These prepositions, sub, that are followed by, all those are followed by the ablative. When it's used by itself, when it's not just following a preposition, when the ablative is being used by itself, then what you want to do is try translating it with by, with, or from. And that example is on top of page 178. So means, manner, mode, separation, time, these are all things that the ablative can demonstrate. So the one thing maybe we should have here, or if the ablative is speaking of time, so you've got a word like ora, an hour, or tempus, time, then translate with in, on, during an hour. It's a duration of time, time within which. But 99% of the time when you're dealing with the ablative by itself, translate it with by, with, and from, and you're going to be doing great. So taking a look at the vocabulary now on page 178. Let's see if there's anything interesting. So notice how for dies, Notice how your fifth declension words are going to be listed in your vocabulary. They will list, as always, the nominative followed by the genitive. So just note, that's your genitive ending for the fifth declension. So that tells you you're in the fifth declension. Now look at the next word in your vocabulary list. Ferrum, fairy. This is second declension. The nice, what we think of as the normal masculine and neuter declension, us, e, o, o, or with the neuter, e, o, o. So that tells you it's second declension, iron or sword. And then fides is faith or trust. So again, that is fifth declension. Fides, because it then shows you fidei. Excuse me, that's shorty there. Fidei. Ignis is third declension. Right? Ignis. That tells you that's third declension. So already in this list, so now you're going to get lists whenever we do vocabulary of all different declensions. Fifth declension, second declension, fifth declension, third declension for Ignis. Race, ray, modus modi, sorry, I missed second declension again. Measure, bound, limit. Okay, so that's what I wanted you to notice in your vocabulary. The rest of the words are pretty straightforward. Res publica is obviously where we get the word republic. That's the Commonwealth or the Republic. Space means hope. Aequus, aequa, aequum means level, even, calm, equal. So that is remember when we have adjectives, they are listed with all three genders, or however many forms they have for each gender, all listed in the nominative. So aequus is masculine, aequa feminine, aequum neuter, and these are all first, second conjugation endings for those adjectives. Felix with a genitive and felicus means lucky, fortunate, happy. Another adverb, incertus, uncertain. Latinus, Latin, obviously. Medius, media, media means middle. Quondam, an adverb, means formerly or once. Quondam, once upon a time. Ultra notice it's an adverb and it's a preposition that takes the accusative. Ultra means beyond, past. Protinus means, protinus is an adverb meaning immediately. And then we get a few verbs. Remember how our verbs are listed. It's listed the present indicative active, first person singular. So that's I discern, I distinguish. And then the present infinitive, kernera. And then the perfect indicative active, first person singular, cravi, cravi. And then the passive participle, kratom. So those are your four principal parts. Then we have eripio, which means to snatch away, to rescue. Inquit is a defective verb. It just means he says. Inquit. He says, or it says, or she says. They're just used in dialogue, kind of. And then this is an important verb, tolo. Means I lift up or I take away. And take note here, this has a very odd set of principal parts. So tolum, tolera, sustuli, sublatum. So the last two principal parts are kind of built on adding the word sub to the word. So I lift up, I raise, I take away. Now again, that's kind of similar to English. We have go, went, and gone. It doesn't look like went has anything to do with go. And in fact, it comes from a different verb. But as history's gone on, they've kind of melded together. Okay. So that does it for lesson 22. Again, very straightforward. Just some vocabulary and these fifth declension forms, review of the ablative. Obviously, you need to make a flashcard for fifth declension forms. Make flashcards for your vocabulary so you'll be ready for the quiz on Friday. And for translations, on page 179, I want you to do numbers 3, 6, and 7. So again, I want you to work those out. So you should have, for every one of these, you should have the Latin copied out, and then go through your steps. Parse the verb, identify the nominative if there is one. Is there an accusative for the direct object? Go through the rest of the sentence, translating each word by its form and its case and whatnot. And then after so Monday, Tuesday, you should be watching this video, making your flashcards, studying. Wednesday, Thursday, you should be working on your translation work. Thursday, you should watch the next video, which will correct your translation work. Quiz on Friday. All right, that's our schedule for the week. Good luck. Quiz on Friday.